Once you know what to look for, it becomes impossible to stop looking. That was the warning Lena gave us, and she was right. After episode 3 of this story, the rules felt clearer, but the fear felt worse. The FeedWalker was not hiding in shadows or dark corners. He was hiding in normal life, in places where your eyes were trained to skim past without stopping. I started noticing how often my brain filled in details automatically. Faces in crowds, people in motion, backgrounds that didn't matter. The FeedWalker didn't need to stand out. He relied on the fact that most of the time, we don't really look at what isn't meant to be important. The first new sighting came from a video that shouldn't have mattered. A short clip posted by someone I barely knew. A birthday party, laughter, music, movement everywhere. And in the far back of the frame, someone stood completely still. At first glance, he looked like anyone else at the party. Dressed appropriately, standing near a wall, not interacting with anyone, but not doing anything wrong either. If you watched the video normally, your eyes followed the faces that moved, the hands that waved, the cake being carried across the room. It wasn't until I paused the video that the problem revealed itself. Everyone else blurred slightly when the motion stopped. Compression artifacts appeared, softening edges the way digital video always does. The FeedWalker stayed sharp. His posture was wrong in the same familiar way. Leaning forward, weight shifted toward the camera, arms hanging just a little too low, his head angled downward, as if he were looking at something on the floor that no one else could see. When the video resumed, he did not move. Everyone else did. We started collecting examples: crowds, public spaces, work sites, parks, boats, sidewalks. Anywhere people appeared casually on camera, he could appear too. Sometimes he looked busy, carrying something, standing in line, waiting near a railing. Other times, he did nothing at all. The consistency wasn't in what he did, but in how he existed within the frame. He was never the subject, never centered, never highlighted, always positioned where the camera wasn't meant to care. Jonah noticed something else. In every image, the FeedWalker respected the logic of the space. He never floated, never stood somewhere impossible. He occupied places where a person could stand, even if no one should have been there. That made him harder to dismiss. The disguises became better. In some images, he wore work clothes. In others, casual outfits. Colors that blended, fabrics that didn't catch the eye. Nothing flashy, nothing memorable. If you passed him on the street, you wouldn't remember him 5 minutes later. But when you looked twice, the illusion cracked. Sleeves were too long, hands hung too low. His stance felt stiff, like he was holding a pose rather than standing naturally. The worst part was the face. It was clearer now than before, but still wrong. The blur hadn't vanished. It had tightened. Features existed, but they didn't settle into place, like the image was almost finished rendering and then gave up. Several people in the thread said the same thing. He looks like someone I know. No one agreed on who. That's when the jump scare happened. It wasn't loud. It wasn't violent. It was a single frame, a short clip from a dockside camera, boats rocking gently, water moving, a man in the distance working with ropes. The FeedWalker was in the background at first, partially blocked by a post. When the camera glitched for less than a second, the image skipped. He was closer, not by much, just enough that the change registered before logic could catch up. The clip ended immediately after. No explanation, no follow-up. Just the knowledge that distance no longer meant safety. Lena said that was how it accelerates. Once you begin to notice him easily, once he no longer needs to hide, things move faster. People start checking images obsessively, pausing videos, zooming in on reflections. They think they're monitoring him. In reality, they're helping him close the gap. Before logging off for the night, I forced myself to stop looking. I left the phone face down and stared at the ceiling instead, listening to sounds from the street outside. Somewhere nearby, a camera was still active, and somewhere within its frame, The FeedWalker was standing where no one thought to look.